How's it going, guys? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to assemble your ZippyLucha, which involves putting your Kershaw Lucha blade onto the ZippyLucha or Cycloid LC handles, and it comes with all of the tools and parts you need for assembly. So let's start by carefully dumping out all of the parts that's included. We'll set the tool aside, the two spacers, pivots, two Zen pins. My bag only had 2 of these polyurethane nuts, but yours will include 4. And we'll separate the washers from everything and the bearings. And then the rest of the balls are tungsten weights to weight the spacers. All right, to begin, let's go ahead and flip all of these washers over. You'll notice some are marked with black Sharpie, which we'll group together, and some will have no marking at all. So the ones that have black Sharpie need to be put in the handles first. So let's go ahead and, with the raceway facing towards the blade, put that into the handle, and then we'll take an unmarked washer and pop that in over it. It should snap right into place, and just make sure that the milled groove, the raceway, is going to be facing towards the blade. We'll repeat that procedure on the other side. Marked washer in first, unmarked washer on top with the raceway facing the blade. We'll do the other handle now. Marked washer into the handle first, unmarked washer snaps on top of it, flip it over, marked first, and then unmarked on top of it. And the raceways are facing the interior of the handle in both instances. All right, now let's go ahead and add the Zen pins. For this, you will need pliers, or at least it makes it easier. And you're going to bend the handle apart and line up the Zen pin with the holes near the pivots and just squeeze them in. So you can see there's a hole next to each pivot, and that is where the Zen pin is going to rest. So I'm bending the handles apart, pushing the Zen pin in. All right, let's go ahead and, oops, one of the washer stacks just fell out, and I'm going to put that back in. All right, now I'm going to push the polyurethane nut into each handle, making sure I'm doing it into the same side, or you're going to have party pivots that look funky. All right, now let's go ahead and install one handle at a time. I'm gonna take the bearings. Each bearing has a flat side and this open side. The flat side is gonna face the blade, and the open side will face away from the blade. I'm gonna put the bearings just like that, and I'm just gonna pop it into the handle. And then I'll push the pivot in just like that, and we'll screw it in. Just stop when you hit medium resistance. You don't want to over tighten it at this point. Let's go ahead and do the other side. So the bearings are going to go into the counterbore on the blade with the smooth side facing the blade, and then we'll just pop the handle on. And push the pivot through. You might need to screw the pivot through. It's somewhat of a friction fit. And then we'll just tighten again. And you can see I'm going to hold, using my finger to apply pressure to the polyurethane hex nut from the other side. And I'll stop there. Now, at this point, it's time to assemble the spacers. Each spacer can hold up to 11 of the tungsten balls. So let's just go ahead and install them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one, it's easier to push in with a tool. It just goes right there. So this one has 7. Let's do 7 in the other one now. Seven is the standard number of balls I ship the Cycloid LCs with. Most of you guys are going to want more of the balls, perhaps even all of the balls. That's why it's an option to weight the much heavier Lucha blade. And each spacer can hold up to 4 tungsten weights at the very bottom, bringing the total weight per spacer count up to 11. So what you can do is I just put in 1. The ball can just sit right there, and we'll take the tip of a clicky pen and just push it in place and repeat that procedure. I'm going to show you how to put in all 4. That's 3 and 4. All right, let's say you want to play around with weight distribution. You can do so by popping out any number of balls by using the holes on the opposite side. To remove this ball, we're going to go in through the hole under it. And to remove this ball, we're going to go in at an angle from this hole. These ones are connected. All right. And now we still have these 2, which can be popped out from the back, and the 4 at the bottom. To remove the 4 at the bottom, we'll go in through this hole with the 2mm hex key, pop 1 out, and now we're going to go fishing for the other 3. There's 2 holes here and here, and we're just going to be pushing our hex key in and just wiggling it until the ball sits there, and then we're just going to push it out. That's 2. Let's find another ball. That's 3. Oh, it moved. So you can see I'm just kind of pushing them towards the front. All right, that's 3, and there's 1 remaining here. Let's see if I can, I'm just wiggling the hex key around until they sit out front. Now I'll turn this over. The last one might be a little tricky. You can even pop it out from here though, if you just angle it to the front and apply some force. There we go. That's what I recommend you do if it's kind of wiggling around on you. So that's how to remove all the balls, and you can mix and match where you want to place the weights to change the weight distribution. The weights that you put at the very bottom, those 4, those have the most mechanical advantage or leverage, so they have the most handle bias. And if you want the most even weight distribution, you might try and have the balls all along the length of the spacer, but you'll have to mix and match and see what suits your preference. I think a good starting point for most people is going to be somewhere between 9 to 11 tungsten weights for the Lucha blade. So let's just go ahead. For the sake of a speedy video, I'm just going to install 7 in each. And let's go ahead and install them in the handles. To do that, we're going to orient the handle and the spacer like so. They'll fit together like that. And I'm going to push the spacer. What I'm doing is angling it. So it anchors there, and then I'm just pushing the spacer. I'm rotating it like that so that the jimping lines up with the back, and now I'm going to push it into place. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. Angling the spacer, and then pushing it into place. And to remove the spacer, we'll do that in reverse. It's much easier with a cloth just because the force required and the roughness of the jimping can irritate your fingers. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wiggle this and pull it out slightly, and then I'm gonna angle the spacer like that, just like that. Let's do it again. So I'm wiggling the spacer, and then I'm angling it out. I'm gonna do it with a cloth to show you what that looks like. This is the way I recommend it. Wiggling, angling it out, and then now I'm angling it here and then pushing it up once this jimping has cleared the ledge. One more time, wiggling it out, angling the spacer out. And you can remove it to adjust the weight. Let's put it back one last time. I'm gonna angle the spacer so this jimping clears the ledge and then push it into place. All right, at this point, we're almost done, but we need to lubricate and tune. First thing we'll do, we'll lubricate. You can either add lubricant by going in through the horns of the Lucha blade, like so, or you can find the 2 holes on either side of the handle in the open position and insert your needle tip applicator for your lubricant in that hole and just squirt some lubricant directly into the bearing to prevent mess. And now we'll just open and close, distribute some of that lubricant around, and let's go ahead and test the swing. So my safe side is far too tight. Let's loosen that. And I'm just gonna loosen it until I'm happy with the swing. Let's do the other side now. Also too tight. Let's loosen it. I may have loosened that too much, but let's go ahead and just check the play. There should be no pivot play. You might experience some handle flex, but when you check the flex, there should be no pivot play, just maybe a little bit of plastic flex. All right, and I'm happy with the swing's a little tight still, actually. Just loosen it a bit more. Sorry. You're gonna just wanna loosen or tighten the swing until you're happy with the speed. Let's loosen that one. All right, now we'll check the tightness. Feels good, shouldn't feel any wiggle at the pivot, and you should have a nice and smooth swing. All right, you've just successfully assembled your ZippyLucha. Enjoy. Thanks, guys.